What if everything you believe about yourself, your name, your job, your story, is just a well-rehearsed lie? What if the biggest reason you're stuck isn't because life is hard, but because you've forgotten who you actually are? Sounds crazy, right? But here's the part no one ever told you. You're not human, not really. You're not your thoughts, your body, or your problems. You're something much greater. A divine consciousness temporarily playing a role. The catch? You forgot you were playing. Most people spend their whole lives trying to fix the character while ignoring the creator behind it. They go to therapy, switch careers, buy courses, and still feel like something's missing. That's because the solution isn't out there. It's in waking up from the illusion of identity and remembering your non-human awareness. And the best part? Once you remember, things start to shift fast. Emotions feel lighter. Life becomes clearer. You start manifesting instead of surviving. So if you've ever felt like you were made for more, or that this world doesn't quite make sense, you're right. You were made for more. You're just remembering now. Let's go deeper. 1. The amnesia of the eternal soul. He wakes up every morning thinking he's just a guy with a job, bills to pay, and maybe some back pain. But that's not who he really is. That's just the script he picked up somewhere along the way. Since childhood, he's been programmed to believe he's just flesh and bone, a walking ID card. But deep down, there's something louder than thoughts, something ancient. That's the divine consciousness whispering beneath all the noise, waiting to be remembered. Spiritual amnesia is real, not the kind that makes you forget where you left your keys, but the kind that makes you forget who the hell you truly are. You're not a machine built to work, eat, sleep, and die. You're a spark of non-human awareness, caught in a world that constantly tells you otherwise. That's why life often feels like something's missing, even when everything seems fine, because you've forgotten the most important part, the part that never ages, never dies, and never doubts. The forgetting happens slowly through years of routine, stress, and emotional programming. People start to believe they are their roles, husband, worker, citizen. But the real you isn't any of those things. Imagine a lion raised among sheep, learning to fear its own roar. That's what happens when divine consciousness takes human form and forgets it's divine. This isn't poetic, it's practical. The moment you stop identifying with the surface, you start feeling the real you beneath it. To begin waking up, you don't need to escape your life. You need to observe it differently. Start with 5 minutes of silence, not to do anything, but to feel what remains when all thoughts settle. That's where the remembering begins. You're not just a man lost in thought. You're the awareness behind it, watching the game unfold. And the more you remember that, the more the illusion of identity starts to crack. 2. The illusion of being separate. Most men were raised to believe they're on their own, that life is a solo game where you either win or get crushed. But that belief is part of the illusion. This idea that we're separate from each other, from nature, from the divine, it's a mental glitch. In truth, there's no real border between you and the rest of existence. You're not a body walking through the world. You're the world, experiencing itself from a single point of view. This illusion of identity, this belief that you're isolated, is what feeds anxiety, stress, and fear. If you truly think you're just you and the world is out there, of course life feels overwhelming. But the spiritual awakening begins when you realize that the separation is just an idea. Like thinking a wave is separate from the ocean. You're not separate from the universe. You're an expression of it. The same intelligence that created galaxies beats inside your chest. You want proof? Look at how your mood changes the way people react to you. When you're angry, the world feels hostile. When you're grateful, things just flow. That's not magic. That's alignment. The external mirrors the internal. This isn't just woo-woo talk, it's real, practical spiritual physics. The more you identify with divine consciousness rather than the ego, the more you see through the illusion of separation. Try this. Next time you're out in nature, forget your name for a second. Let the wind hit your face, feel your feet on the ground, and remind yourself, this is not outside of me. This is me. The trees, the sky, the breath, all part of one field of awareness. That's non-human awareness kicking in, the part of you that never bought into the lie of being alone. And from there, something incredible starts to happen. 3. You were never your body. He looks in the mirror and sees wrinkles, scars, or maybe a body that doesn't perform like it used to, and he thinks that's him. But let's set this straight. Your body is not your identity. It's your tool, your temporary vehicle, not yourself. The real you is the observer behind the eyes, the quiet presence that was there when you were 5 and will still be there when you're 80. The body ages. Awareness doesn't. The body is like a smartphone. Super useful, packed with features, but the real power is in the signal, the consciousness using it. Without that signal, the body's just a shell. People get so caught up in trying to fix the outer shell, more protein, less fat, smoother skin, that they forget the truth. You are not human in the way you've been taught. You are divine consciousness inhabiting a temporary machine designed for experience, not for perfection. This shift changes everything. Let's say your body isn't working like it used to. Maybe you're recovering from an injury or feeling weaker than before. Instead of spiraling into self-judgment, you can shift into awareness. You can ask, what is this teaching me? What part of me is untouched by this pain? When you stop identifying with the body, fear starts to fade. Pain becomes information, and suffering, it starts to loosen its grip. Try observing your body without commentary. Just sit quietly and scan from head to toe, not as you, but as if you were studying a piece of art. You'll begin to feel that separation, not a disconnection, but a realization. This isn't me, it's mine. That's non-human awareness in action. And the more you practice it, the more your perception starts to shift towards something much bigger than the skin you're in. 4. You are the mirror of the cosmos. He thinks the universe is out there, stars, planets, galaxies light years away. But here's the twist most never see. The same force that moves the cosmos is the force that breathes through him. As above, so below isn't just a fancy phrase, it's a blueprint. Every rhythm in nature, every pattern in the stars, echoes in your own body and mind. You're not a tiny speck in the universe. You are the universe, concentrated into a single point of divine consciousness. Take the structure of a galaxy and compare it to the neurons in your brain. They look almost identical. That's not a coincidence. That's correspondence. Spiritual awakening isn't about escaping Earth or floating into some other realm. It's about seeing that the laws that govern the cosmos also govern you. Your breath mirrors the tides. Your emotions mirror the moon cycles. You are the microcosm of a much greater intelligence. When you're in sync with that rhythm, life stops feeling random. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this showing me? That's a powerful switch. You move from victim to co-creator. Instead of seeing obstacles as punishments, you see them as alignment tools. Just like storms clear the sky, challenges clear out what no longer serves you, so something better can flow through. Here's something to try. At night, look at the stars, but don't look at them. Look from them. Imagine that your awareness is as vast as the sky, and this moment is just one pixel in the grand design. That perspective doesn't just humble you, it empowers you. Because the more you realize you're made of the same stuff as stars, the more the illusion of identity begins to dissolve, and something higher begins to take over. 5. God is not a person. It's a frequency. Most people picture God as some old man in the clouds keeping score. But that's a human projection, not the truth. God is not a person. God is a frequency, a state of being. When you're aligned with love, gratitude, stillness, you're tuned into that frequency. It's not about belief, it's about vibration. Divine consciousness doesn't need worship, it needs resonance. That means raising your state, not just folding your hands and hoping for mercy. Think of a radio. If you're stuck on a static-filled station, you won't hear the music that's playing just a few clicks away. Same goes for your state of mind. Fear, anger, guilt. They keep you tuned into distortion. But when you shift into joy, forgiveness, or presence, something clicks. You start to hear the signal. That's non-human awareness making contact, not through words, but through vibration. God doesn't speak English. God speaks energy. Want to connect with the divine? Start by becoming aware of how you feel throughout the day. That tightness in your chest? That's a sign you're tuned into a lower station. Try breath work. Try listening to 432 Hz or 528 Hz music. Take a walk in silence without your phone. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting back to the natural state you were born into before the world trained you to forget. It's like cleaning your antenna so the signal comes through. When you really get this, you stop chasing God and start tuning to God. The shift isn't external, it's internal. That's why the old wisdom says, be still and know. Because the more you settle, the more you rise. And when you start vibrating at that divine frequency, life doesn't just feel better. It starts bending in your favor. And that's when meditation starts becoming more than just a practice. 6. Meditation. The doorway back to non-human awareness. Most people think meditation is about sitting cross-legged and clearing the mind, but it's not. Meditation is about remembering. It's the practice of turning down the volume of the world so you can hear what's always been there. Divine consciousness. It's not about getting somewhere. It's about coming back to that deep, quiet awareness underneath all your thoughts, emotions, and distractions. The modern world has trained you to be in constant motion, scrolling, working, reacting, overthinking, always on. That noise makes you forget you're not just a man trying to survive. You're something far greater, something timeless. Meditation pulls you out of the mind and drops you into the now. In the now, there's no illusion of identity. There's just awareness, raw, pure, alive. And it's not human. It's you, before the forgetting. Start small, set a timer for 5 minutes, sit with your back straight, close your eyes. Every time a thought comes up, just notice it like a bird flying by. Don't chase it, don't swat it away, just watch. That's it. That's the doorway. Over time, you'll notice a strange peace, not the kind you fake for others, but a real quiet power. That's spiritual awakening beginning to unfold, not from doing more, but from finally being still. It's in that stillness that the memory returns, not the memory of your past, but the memory of your real nature, the one that existed before you had a name or a story. The more you sit with it, the more you realize you're not in the body. You're watching the body. You're not in the thoughts. You're observing them. That awareness, that's who you've been the whole time. And science is starting to agree. 7. Ancient wisdom, modern proof. Long before science caught up, the ancient mystics already knew. You are not what you seem. They didn't have fancy lab coats or particle accelerators, but they had direct access to divine consciousness through stillness, observation, and inner experience. They spoke of oneness, energy, and illusion, things that modern quantum physics now confirms. You're not just a guy having thoughts. You're a field of intelligence, influencing and being influenced by everything around you. Take quantum entanglement. 2 particles, separated by miles, still affect each other instantly. Sounds mystical, right? But it's real. And it mirrors the teachings of sages who said, what you think, You become. What you feel, you attract. That's not some New Age slogan. That's real spiritual awakening backed by science. Your consciousness isn't locked inside your skull. It's everywhere, connected to everything. That's non-human awareness in action, timeless, expansive, and measurable. Ever heard of the double-slit experiment? It shows that just observing something changes its behavior. Translation: your awareness shapes reality. Think about that the next time you dwell on fear or doubt. You're not just reacting to life. You're helping to write it. That's why the ancients placed so much importance on intention, prayer, and visualization. They weren't guessing. They knew the link between inner and outer worlds. So if modern science and ancient wisdom are both pointing to the same truth, why are most people still stuck thinking they're just human? It's because knowledge without experience is useless. Reading about it doesn't cut it. You've got to live it. Align your thoughts. Observe your emotions. Intentionally shift your focus. And in doing that, you stop playing the role of the character and start waking up to the truth. You're the one writing the script. 8. You're the creator, not the character. Most men go through life thinking they're the character in the movie, reacting to scenes, surviving the plot, hoping the ending works out. But here's the twist most never hear. You're not the character. You're the one writing the movie. Every belief, every emotion, every decision, it's all shaping your world. You're not human fumbling through life. Your divine consciousness projecting a story onto the screen of reality, and you've simply forgotten that you hold the pen. Think about it. When you believe you're powerless, life reflects that back to you. When you believe you're a creator, the game starts to shift. You begin to notice how your inner state influences your outer world. You attract different people, different opportunities. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. It's the exact opposite of the illusion of identity most people live under, thinking life happens to them, instead of realizing they're behind the scenes of it all. A great way to reconnect with this creator energy is to consciously re-script your story. Literally, grab a journal and write down the version of you that already exists in alignment. What does he believe? How does he speak? What habits does he practice? This isn't just journaling, this is reprogramming. The subconscious mind, the part of you that runs 95% of your life, can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. So start imagining with purpose. The beauty of all this? The character can struggle, fall, or even lose hope, but the creator is always untouched. He's just waiting for you to remember. Every challenge, every delay, every dark night of the soul has been pushing you back toward that realization that you're not here to merely react. You're here to create, to direct, to wake up. And once that remembering starts, a whole new level of reality becomes available to you. If you want to elevate your vibrations and manifest with more ease, I have prepared something special for you. Click the link in the first pinned comment and join us in the journey of awakening your inner mage.